These stories made me wonder what is happening with floods and droughts in other parts of the country, and I found some other locations that seem to be having problems with too little and too much water as well. I gathered some headlines from those locations that might help us learn more about what is happening elsewhere. So, this map shows all of those locations where droughts and floods in the past few years have been. Brown markers represent a location that experienced a drought, while the green markers indicate a location of a flood. Let's look at the headlines from these locations to see if we can find any patterns to help us explain what's going on. So, individually, what you're going to do is you're going to read the headlines assigned to your group. So, if your last name begins with A through L, you'll read about floods. M through Z, you're going to read about droughts. And you're going to add a label for the patterns you are seeing and record on a sticky note. So, what does that look like? Here you can see a forced copy for flood headlines for those with A through L, drought headlines for those with M through Z. When you get one, it'll open up and force you to make a copy. And here's your own copy of all of the headlines. This is where you can move them around and organize them however you want. And any patterns that you notice, you'll create a sticky note for. So let's say you noticed that they all appeared to be in the mountains. Not that that's a pattern really, but that's something that we could write down. So any patterns you notice, you'll kind of organize your headlines accordingly. If you prefer to print out a copy, here's a link to the Google Doc version, and that has all of the headlines organized for both drought and flood, where you can cut them out and then organize them however you want, if that's easier for you to do. So then you're going to post patterns from the headlines. So you're going to share them. You're going to add any patterns that you recorded on sticky notes to the class discussion below. So any patterns you related for drought related, and then for those of you that did flood related.